Hi friends, I'm MADITRONIQUE and I received this message the other day.
I wanted to reach out to you because I was doing some critical analysis about the last gig, and I wanted to ask for your advice because obviously you've got lots and lots of experience.
Okay, so this was a message from a lovely girl called Steph who performs live as Samantha. We were on the same gig over in West Wales and she just had some questions for me. So I thought I would just make a little video of the things that I said.
Vocally, I know there's quite a few times I was off key and stuff like that, and maybe a bit too harsh.
The main thing with being able to sing in key or in tune and at the right level, like not kind of like over singing too much or under singing, is all to do with how much you can hear yourself. In an ideal world, I'm singing with in-ear monitors. I can hear myself, I can hear the other things that I need to hear, like if there's a guitar or a piano or whatever to be pitching myself against. Second most ideal would be like a wedge down on the floor, same thing with a nice mix where I can hear myself. But sometimes that's not possible. There might not be enough monitor wedges for everyone. There might not be time if you're at a festival to be setting up an in-ear mix. There might not be enough channels for it or whatever. So you've got to be able to deal with not being able to hear yourself as well as you would like, because it might come up. So a backup plan that I always have is that I always carry earplugs with me everywhere I go. I've got some really nice moulded ones that are sort of completely moulded to my ear and they're sort of filtered. They're great, but those little spongy boys, they're good as well. Like if you can block out some of the things you don't need to hear, like for instance, a lot of the low end is not going to be that helpful for you singing. A lot of the like cymbals, if there's a drummer, maybe even just the noise of the people in the venue or at the festival. The less of that that's getting in the way, the more you'll be able to hear yourself. And also, if you just put your finger in your ear, you can kind of hear your voice inside your head a little bit. So that's going to help you to hear the pitches that you're actually making.
Have you got any tips or tricks that you use to help? Because I know practicing your skills, that's going to help with the pitching.
Every time I've got a gig, well, let's be honest, 99 times out of 100, I will be warming up before the gig. So there's all sorts of different things you can use. There's tons of vocal warm-up videos on YouTube that you can find. And it's going to allow you to, you've limbered up the muscle then before you do the gig. Like just trying to sing cold straight away at the gig is like just sort of going outside and be like, right, I'm just going to sprint now. I'm just going to do that without doing any stretches or anything first. Also, singing vocal exercises and scales and stuff gets you more used to where the pitches sit in your voice and what it feels like to go between them. Or if you're doing exercises where you're doing a bigger jump, like a bigger interval, you're literally just practicing that motion. So you're going to be better at it when it comes up in a song. And you don't have to only do singing warm-ups exercises on days that you've got a gig. You can just do them any day. I personally do them in the shower, which is really fun for anyone I live with. The acoustic in there is really nice. And the steam in the shower is nice for your voice as well. And it's just a thing, it's like a habit thing that you can join together. So you're in the shower, you're doing vocal exercises at the same time. So you're more likely to just keep doing it.
Musical freestyles, is it better to just be simplistic than complicate it?
Depends what sort of genre of singing, what sort of gig you're doing, whether freestyles are going to be a thing for you. Whether to be simple or complicated, I'd say if in doubt, go simple. Do simple and do it better, rather than aiming for complicated and just making a big mess. But also, I think the most important thing to think about is just what is your personality as a singer. Like I've got a lot of close friends who are singers, and we don't all sing the same way at all. So you've got somebody who's more of like a riffy runs kind of Christina Aguilera kind of vibes. That's not what I would do though, because that's not my style. I'm more likely to pull a Freddie Mercury and like belt out some big notes, slide up to something high, something like that. So it just depends on what your personality is, because people can tell. It's the same as with songwriting. People can tell if you're sort of doing a thing that's not really you. It's almost like you're pretending, and people can tell because they're clever. And obviously a freestyle can be, this is not a thing that I can do, but if you're really good at thinking of words on the spot, you don't even have to think about notes, do you? You can just be doing words.
Thank you so much. And that's really helpful because I'm like a severe overthinker and I'm very overcritical on myself. So, like, I'm just trying to help shape the way I analyze my singing and like what I can do better.
So I think it's like amazing, first of all, that she is trying to analyze and going back and trying to be better. But yeah, we all fall into the overthinking trap, don't we? Thing to remember though with overthinking is nobody else is going to be thinking as harshly about you as you are. They're not going to be thinking about you as much as you are, to be fair. Like everyone else is thinking about you a lot less of the time than you think they are. And also something that you did that maybe you thought was a bit like pitchy or a bit like out of time or off or whatever, other people probably just didn't notice. Especially if you style it out on stage and don't go like, oops, I made a mistake, then people ain't gonna know.
Like, and then when I'm practicing, what I can focus on. So then in shows, if that kind of thing comes up again, I feel more confident, and then I know I'm delivering a good service, you know?
I think that's exactly what you need to think about is like, rather than analysing everything and being kind of like, that bit wasn't perfect because, you know, spoilers, perfect doesn't exist. It's more about controlling what you can control. So you can't control necessarily what the sound is going to be like. You can't control what the humidity is going to be like. But what you can control is making sure you know the songs, making sure you've got any equipment that you need. Like if you're bringing a microphone, if you've got in-ears, if you've got earplugs, if you've got like an iPad with words on, stuff like that, you can control that. And you can control whether you're warmed up. So just focus on those things rather than stressing about the things that you can't control.
But no, I really appreciate you taking the time to help me out because, yeah, I just love singing with all my heart. And I know it's a journey and not a race.
So right. Just, I think I've gone through phases like this as well, where it can be easy to sort of forget that the reason you started doing it was because you loved it in the first place. And it's not about kind of like, oh, why can that person do that thing and I can't do it? Or why are they getting that opportunity and I'm not? It's more about, I'm going to mangle a quote right now and I can't remember who it's from, but I'll put it in the caption. I'll have a little look in a minute. You don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. Right? So for instance, if you're, you know, trying to be a singer and you just got this goal of like a singer that you want to be like, that's not really going to help as much as having a system where you practice every day. Does that make sense?
Sometimes I forget that, and it's okay to mess up, you know, it's just a part of being human. Because some of the videos I was listening, I was like, gee, wow. Wow, just wow, that's all I can say.
It's really super important. I think it's a thing with singing that people find really hard because it feels more embarrassing for some reason because it's a thing that's like, it's a noise that's coming out of your face. It's not like, oh, I did it wrong. The guitar must be wrong. The guitar's out of tune or whatever. It's more like, oh, bleh! Oh, I made a weird noise. And I think that makes a lot of people afraid to try. But you've just gotta go for it. And like, if you make a stupid noise, it doesn't matter. In fact, stupid noises are like some of my favourite singing warm-ups. Like, that's a really good one, especially when you're ill. It's really, really good. So I think if you can try and just take yourself a tiny bit less seriously, and if something goes wrong, just be like, it went wrong, guys. It's fine. So yeah, thank you so much to Steph/Samantha. I'll put her links down in the caption. Thank you for asking me those questions. I thought I would just make a little video because, you know, I wouldn't have minded watching a video like this myself a couple of years ago. So I hope it's helpful. Good luck. I'll see you soon.